Hello and a warm welcome to this very special edition of the Punters Guide. We're here at Newmarket for the Betfred Guineas Festival. Jason Weaver's alongside me and Frankie Foster. The Betfred Guineas Festival. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Does sound good. 5 classics, all a different test, 3 different venues, and it's the chance for the speedsters today, this weekend, if you like. Mile down here is a real true test.
I know he's our gaffer, Frankie, but we've got to give him credit, haven't we? Fred has put his money where his mouth is.
Oh yeah, you say it sounds good. I mean, it looks good as we stand here with 3 great days of racing ahead of us. Looks brilliant. And I think what I love about this is having that succinct sponsorship. It brands the classics. Not that they necessarily need that, but it puts them together. It gives you something to follow even more. I think it kind of, pieces it together nicely, and we stand here and get excited for the first 2. But as we go through the flat season, we've got some great days ahead of us, haven't we?
Yeah. Jason, early on this week, Fred said to me that British flat racing and the British classics are the best.
Yeah, it's what everybody is striving for. That whole 2-year-old juvenile campaign, you've still got that thought in the back of your mind to set off. And people with 200, 100 horses, they're looking for that one to show him or herself for a classic campaign.
The £2 million might tease a few people in if there's a horse for it.
Well, let's talk about that in a moment, but let's hear from a man who's actually put up the £2 million. Let's hear from Fred, who told me about he wants to reinvigorate the British Classics and his £2 million bonus for the Betfred Triple Crown.
This is a worldwide event in my book. The British Classics, they're the best in the world. Nobody else produces it like us. I don't care where you go in the world, the British Classics are number 1. I am immensely proud of it, and my family's immensely proud of it. Seeing the Betfred brand up at these race courses, how can you beat that? How can you beat it? We're talking Epsom, we're talking Doncaster, we're talking Newmarket. I never thought anybody would do this, but never thought Betfred could ever do it, but we are there. We've put a £2 million bonus up for any horse that can manage to win the Triple Crown. And I'll tell you, it would be fantastic for Betfred, it'd be fantastic for racing if it happens. Fingers crossed on it.
So that's Fred. You'll see him live on ITV presenting the trophy for the 2,000 guineas, the first leg of the Triple Crown. Not been done since 1970 in Nijinsky because it is very, very tough to do.
Yeah, it's the complete test of a thoroughbred, isn't it? If you can win over the mile, you've got the required speed. You go to Epsom, and that's the high rocks for the thoroughbred, isn't it? Uphill, down dale, and managing to get past there. And then you have to go to Doncaster for the stamina sapping extended mile and 6, if you are quick enough early in the season to win over a mile.
I think it's a great incentive. And right now, you have got owners and trainers thinking, well, I'm going to go for that 2 million.
Oh, the dream's alive, isn't it? Yeah. The dream's alive. And the history as well that will be made. I think that's what I find great about Fred putting up the money is it would be bittersweet, wouldn't it, for Fred? He'd lose £2 million, but he'd be very, very pleased to see a Triple Crown winner.
He might be a bookmaker, but I can tell you one thing about Fred. He loves his racing, and he loves his racing history. So when I was speaking to him on this week, he was telling me his first ever Guineas as a bookmaker was 1968. Sir Ivor won, 11-8 favourite, queuing out of the door. And then 2 years later, it didn't go for St Ledger, did St Ivor, but did win the Derby. And then 2 years later, obviously the great Nijinsky, cost him a fortune.
It's funny when you think back. I remember just being out on the stand for the lads and the lasses. They've got a spot out the front there where you can watch. And I watched Nashwan come down there underneath Willie Carson many, many moons ago. And he was an absolute freak. Was a massive gamble as well the week leading up, owing to his superb homework and everything. And it was the one that lit the flame for me.
Yeah, it certainly is. Look, it's a race full of history, isn't it? So Ivor, Nijinsky, we had Frankel a few years ago. What a performance that was in the 2,000 guineas. Right, let's talk about the race. So it's 3:35 on Saturday, the first classic of the season, the first leg of the Betfred Triple Crown. It's the Betfred 2,000 guineas. And we've got a favourite here, trained by John and Thady Gosden. And if you look at John Gosden's CV, he's never won a 2,000 guineas.
He's won everything else, though, hasn't he? You know, come on, Big John, and obviously now with Thady there on the team as well. They probably, you know, Kingman was a little bit unlucky, and lots of people have talked about it. But this lad,
That's the closest he's been, isn't it?
comes in with a super dominant display. So look, it doesn't mean they're going to win. However, he's got I don't think he'd be swapping him for anybody at the moment.
Yeah, worthy favourite. Field of Gold.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, were you here, Jace, when he
Yeah.
won? I mean, what was the feeling like when he came back in? Was everyone thinking that's a 2,000 guineas winner?
Yeah, and he was extremely big as an individual. Like he's massive. He's a massive horse anyway, as in height. But he's a big horse, so he wasn't particularly fit. I watched it back a few times last night, and my one concern was he never really dropped the bridle. He was always aggressive.
I think the thing that struck me most was just how he came out of that dip, and you've spoken about it plenty of times. Well, you know, you can say better than I can because you've ridden it, but you've got to have a horse that keeps their balance.
Yeah.
And seeing him do what he did over the course and distance, yeah, it does make you get excited, doesn't it?
I think it's fascinating this time of year because we don't know how these horses have come on, do we? We don't know how some of them are going to perform now as 3-year-olds. It's question marks over quite a few of them.
Yeah, and we often have Aiden coming over with the dominant force, and we always sit back and worry. Their team has been somewhat depleted, but they've got Expanded, who's only had 2 tries. He's open to any amount of improvement. Remember, soft ground conditions, what a thankless job that is, a clerk of the course. He had to water, we'd had no wet weather here, it rained on top of it, soft ground conditions. It'll be different this weekend.
Yeah, 10 times, of course, Aidan O'Brien has won this. Also in the field, for the Godolphin team, won this last year, Ruling Court.
I quite
And
like
obviously,
him.
William Buick probably had a choice, didn't he?
Yeah, and by Justify, who was obviously a Triple Crown winner over in the US, so that'd be quite cool if he could get the Triple Crown dream alive here. I think there's something quite exciting about him. Maybe the unknown, because he won over in Dubai. He was very, very good on his first start. He hasn't had that dominant recent performance here, and I think that's what excites me, is there could be a lot of untapped potential that we haven't seen, but William Buick obviously has at home because he's chose to ride him.
Yeah, last year's combination.
Yeah, he's decided to go with him rather than the champion juvenile. Both Godolphin runners will run with a tongue tie. Now, first time for Shadow of Light. The Ruling Court, he ran in a tongue tie over in Dubai. Look, he beat Trees, he beat me and you, but he came home in about 22 seconds, was super. They keep talking him up as a 10 furlong or even a little bit further. If he can retain that speed and go further, then all of a sudden the 2 million is up for grabs.
Right, it's the first leg of a Betfred Triple Crown. It's a Betfred 2,000 Guineas. We've not spoken about all the horses, we've spoken about the 3 at top of the market there, but we could have an outsider. We could have one of the favourites. Who knows? That's the beauty of a Betfred 2,000 Guineas. Right, gents, selection time.
Yeah, I think that Frankie was pretty keen on Ruling Court. I've been banging his drum since that. He won the UAE 2,000 Guineas in emphatic fashion. Buick's decided to ride him. He must have been working well. He will love the ground. That's the key.
I agree. I think he's got plenty of speed. If he handles that dip, I think he could come out the other side of it on top.
So Ruling Court for the fellas. I thought Wimbledon Hawkeye might run well each way.
You know,
each way selection for me.
That's the key. We've had a load of big price runners place, haven't we? You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he could. You know, you're looking for one to run well at a huge price.
Benevento, bottom of the market. I wouldn't be overly surprised if he managed to just nick a place. He ran all right in the Craven.
Give us one each way then.
Where does Scorthy Champ sit in the market at the moment? Is he out enough to be an each way price? They won the listed race at Chelmsford, so the team are in really good form. And like you said, Wimbledon Hawkeye, he's bound to improve, isn't he? You know, and he wasn't that far. 3.5 lengths from here to the escalator. He's no problem. He could run a place.
So that is the 2,000 Guineas. And then on Sunday, of course, the feature is the Betfred 1,000 Guineas. Desert Flower is probably going to go off favourite for this. 4 wins last year, trained by Charlie Appleby. Aidan O'Brien's got a few in at the moment, got a great record, won this race 7 times. Your early thoughts on the 1,000 Guineas?
Yeah, they're banging the drum about the Godolphin run. I like the way that she went through the gears last year, Desert Flower. But for all the world, she wants further, doesn't she? You know, the way she races, her mechanics, the way she goes about it. She's relentless. That's the key with her. And I just wonder if 1 or 2 might be a little bit too quick for her down there. So I'm going to take on the favourite.
Early thoughts, 1,000 guineas?
I was lucky enough to be in America when Lake Victoria won, and she did not have an ideal trip round. She got a knot going around the bend, they go fast there, and for her still to then manage to relax and go and win like she did, I thought was impressive. But then you go back and look at the Moyglare and see Red Letter have absolutely no run on the rail in a race that Lake Victoria won, and you start to wonder maybe Red Letter might get the better of Lake Victoria back here with a clear run. So as I kind of worked my way down the market, I was changing my mind as I went. Jo Lawrence is very, very keen on Red Letter. I think she could run a big race.
I tell you what, your air miles must be impressive at the moment. Hong Kong, America. I presume you flew here to Newmarket as well.
Yeah, got the helicopter
got the chopper in. Got the chopper in.
That's the 1,000 guineas on Sunday. Let's just look at a couple of other races. It's a brilliant sporting weekend, isn't it? We've got the World Snooker Championship final in Rugby League. It's a magic weekend up in Newcastle. Well, the Premier League's over, isn't it? But we've still got those Champions League spots up for grabs. It's a brilliant sporting weekend. So the main race, of course, tomorrow, the feature is the Betfred 2,000 guineas. I just thought we'd have a quick look at a couple of other races on the card on Saturday. Starting with the 145, the Betfred Handicap as well. And some old stages in here which I quite like, Silky Wilkie. Aberama Gold has done me a few favours in the last couple of years, especially at Yorkville, not here at Newmarket.
Yeah, look, I should imagine all the rage is going to be more thunder. First run for William Haggis last time, dropped down from 1.25 miles to 6 furlongs, one on soft. Took forever to get up on the line, so the question mark is quicker ground conditions, and that's something that punters are going to have to watch out for this week.
It's fascinating, isn't it? I think we've got the 1, 2, 3 from that race at the top of the market here. Who's going to come out on top? The Haggis runner is the only one that's been put up in the weights. The other two stay the same. Whether that will make the difference, I don't know, because he did win quite impressively. I was having a little look at Two Tribes, though. He's just ran in plenty of good handicaps, pretty consistent, a bit of an each-way price that you can go at in a race that is obviously competitive with how the top three in the market ran last time. So I was trying to find one that might be backable each way.
One for sure is Stonage, who was picked up at the sales. He's a full brother to Calix, believe it or not. He ran here last meeting, saw no daylight whatsoever. He goes for the Easterby team. Raider from the north coming down, dropping back, sprinting, interesting.
And then at 220, we've got the Betfred Suffolk Stakes.
The Suffolk Stakes, I get that, we're on from Goodwood. Hand of God. Oh my word, how good was he when he managed to win at the Royal Meeting? Some massive weekend for Fittock Stud. A whole host of their pedigrees are on show throughout the weekend. And look, he got put up a chunk for that, but he could be so far in front of the handicapper, it's embarrassing. Hand of God, it'd be like that, just over the top and in.
Oh, don't remind me.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you got excited about him, because I feel the same. I feel like he's a proper horse in a handicap that can go and win en route to better things. As I look through the card, I think he's one that might just be really special and above the class of that race.
Yeah, when you're jumping out of handicapped into group company, aren't you? He's on that climb at the moment.
Well, Jason just mentioned we've also got Goodwood on Saturday as well, and the Hunt Cup from Thirsk as well, their big race. So it's really good racing, but the headline act on Saturday is the Betfred 2,000 Guineas and the first leg of the Betfred Triple Crown. And let's just finish. I think this is fantastic. I know it's not been done for 55 years. I know we would see racing history once again, but it's brilliant that Fred has put up £2 million.
That's unbelievable, yeah. It makes everything more exciting. Everyone's, got dreams as we stand here thinking about the 2,000 guineas, the Betfred 1,000 guineas, but to have it now in the back of your mind that everyone might just push that little bit further and the bonus up for grabs. I mean, if you have a horse that can do it, you're going to want to do it. It's tempting history, isn't it? It's teasing people in to play the game, and that's what I love about it.
Who wants to be around that table after you've managed to win the first classic, right, boys? Let's map out the plan, and girls, wherever you're going to go. And I'm afraid the carrot is plenty big enough to make people say, let's roll the dice.
Love it. Right. Thanks, fellas. Well done, Fred, for putting up that bonus as well. And across the weekend, follow our social media channels. We'll be taking you behind the scenes here at Newmarket. It's the Betfred Guineas Festival. We've got 3 days of brilliant racing ahead, but we've got the first leg of the Betfred Triple Crown on Saturday. Be lucky.